Eldon came to town, when he took over the Coors distributorship, Lapeka Inc., which he formed, I don't remember what the sales volume was for Coors, but he more than doubled it in the time that he had the franchise before he sold it. And he did that on public relations. He was such a friendly guy. He called on his customers constantly. He'd go into a restaurant, and Eldon would be in there, and he'd just buy a beer for everybody that's sitting in there. And, you know, it was on the house, and you'd see him doing it all over town.
I met Eldon back in the 70s when he joined our bank board. He and I joined the board at the same time. He was a very good businessman, very conscientious, really cared for his customers and his employees.
His employees, who I knew a lot of them, were always happy with him. He just treated them great. And he'd just be, I guess you have to say, his philosophy in business is be nice to people, be generous, very generous man, and be honest. And your business will do good, and his did. And that's exactly how he approached it.
He's a gentleman. Anybody who meets Eldon, he's very caring, and that influences the way he has operated his businesses. And we could see it when he was on our board. His participation, his business acumen, he did just an excellent job in his business career.
Whatever he did, he was all in. It wasn't halfway for anything for him. I think, you know, that plaque that he had on his desk that I recall from those early days about the scenery never changing unless you were the lead dog. He was the lead. He took the lead in everything that he did, whether it be business or charity or civic. That was Eldon. He was a person who was always in the lead. He made that scenery change for himself, plus he made it change for everyone else that he was associated with.
He had a very outgoing personality and was able to meet people and successfully create friendships that were instrumental in developing his business and the community.
He was very interested in the local community in terms of economic development. He always looked for opportunities to lend his business acumen to those endeavors, and that was one of his strong suits.
One of his big things he enjoyed was the Topeka Chamber of Commerce and working with the businesses downtown to try to make it a more thriving community. Any new business that wanted to come to town, he would take part in meeting them, talking to them, taking them around and showing them.
He was very straightforward about completing any projects that the Chamber of Commerce or the city of Topeka was interested in.
He was one of the leaders in an organization loosely formed but nevertheless important called Crisis Topeka that really addressed some problems that Topeka was having in years and years ago. Now we have Go Topeka to do that.
He was very instrumental in the development of the Topeka Industrial Air Terminal.
He was a major player in changing the form of government in Topeka. We were at city council, and at the time, a lot of us wanted to have a city manager, council type of government. And he got with the AFL-CIO, labor unions. He could get along with anybody. And he immediately got involved, and we changed our form of government because of him.
He led the United Way campaign.
I remember the year that he was the chairman for the annual United Way fundraiser. He was behind the scenes financially supporting many charities over the years. Eldon had that special someone behind him from the very beginning, that being his wife, Linda.
Of course, Linda's been great with Eldon. They're a wonderful couple and support each other.
Eldon and Linda have 2 children, Kurt and Christy. Christy lives out of state, and Kurt lives in state, and they have as well many grandchildren. I remember him telling the story about in the early days when he and Linda graduated from Pittsburgh State. He went to play in the American Football League for the Broncos, and he recalled that his salary was slightly less than what his wife's was going to be as a school teacher.
He always used to tell us that in his top year playing for the Denver Broncos, he was all-pro, and his salary was $12,000 a year.
I think to be successful at the professional level, you have to be very competitive and you have to be very good and very organized and kind of know how the game's played. And I suspect that Eldon has utilized those skills very successfully on the golf course.
We used to play a lot of golf together, and when he first came to Topeka, he had a terrible slice, and his expression after he hit the ball was, "There she goes." Then the ball would go into the woods.
When you played golf with Eldon, you didn't have to concern yourself with keeping your own score, because in a foursome, Eldon would keep everyone's score within the group. He knew what everyone shot on every hole.
Eldon's been a very generous person, and I think that is one of his strengths and what something a lot of people remember from the standpoint of the community, business, personally. Quite frankly, this community has been blessed over the years as a result of his generosity.